Currently a part-time employee at a bookshop, Nanaha is a connoisseur of adult novels. She believes that true love can only be born out of a clash of both the mental and the physical. Thus, she does not have a high regard for platonic love. She often gains a passion for a new hobby after reading about it, but she abandons them just as fast for other books. Though her enthusiasm is short-lived, she has still done well in a lot of her interests, which might be a talent of hers. Where we talk about all our favorite little guys in all our favorite little games. I'm Ivy Fox. You can find me at Ivy Fox Art on co-host, and you can find the horror fiction podcast I'm making, The Mad Bird, on your podcast app of choice. Joining me as always is Ash.
Hi, I'm Ash. You can find me on Ko-Fi because I don't use any kinds of social media nowadays except for the co-host for our podcast, which is soul-mates-podcast at co-host. And I'm Asher Lark at Ko-Fi.
Our theme is by Sueños Electrónicos, who you can find on Bandcamp, and our cover art is by Rygarden, who you can find on Instagram. This season, we're talking about the characters from Mahjong Soul by YoStar and Cat Food Studios, a blend of cute, appealing anime girls with classical Japanese mahjong, in their words, not mine. I briefly forgot about a blend of I briefly forgot about that part, and so I was trying not to lie.
You forgot they were cute and appealing anime girls?
I forgot that it was a blend. The blend is the part that always...
the blend is important, yes.
Uh-huh. Today we're talking about, Nanaha Onodera. I realized I didn't say this out loud earlier.
Nanaha Onodera.
Who you can watch, look, read, you can join... You can join looking at this woman at mahjongsoul.club/content/Nanaha
You can do it.
Onodera, and then language equals EN for
it doesn't
English.
Have to be language equals EN.
It doesn't have to be language equals EN. But
you don't need to read about this woman to look at her.
That's true. Yeah. You don't have to read about women.
People, it would not be nice to read about a woman.
People, it would not be nice to read about a woman. God, what a great line. Should we contextualize this?
How?
Good point. Anyway, moving on. Hi Ash, how you doing?
Hi. I'm well. I want to preface this entire episode real quick by saying that before we did our little random roll at the end of last episode, I had never seen this woman before.
I'd seen her just because I've looked at all the women. I've looked at every woman. But
great.
I don't think I've ever seen her in game, and I barely gave her a second thought.
I have never come across a Nanaha player online, which I guess is just because there's a lot of women in this game.
What do you think that says about society?
Which part?
That you haven't seen any Nanaha players online.
We hate reading nowadays.
So true. So true. The kids, they're playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching TikToks. They're not sitting down and reading a good book that is about romantic and not platonic love.
Yeah.
It's fucked
They're
up.
Nobody is a connoisseur of adult novels anymore.
Nobody is a connoisseur of adult novels anymore, and that's so sad.
And that's so sad, and that's what Nanaha can fix, I think.
That's what Nanaha can fix for you.
If you zoom in on this woman, you too can become a connoisseur of adult novels.
Uh-huh. So before this, we did a thing. This is part of the reason why I almost said projected. That's the wrong word. This is why I projected people to the English language site, is because we did read all her main voice lines. What's your broad feelings about Nanaha as a character, as presented by the fiction of Mahjong Soul?
As presented by the fiction of Mahjong Soul, you're gonna get me to start saying Mahjong just by doing this podcast with me too often. Mahjong.
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 As long as we're not saying Mahjong. I do not like when people say Mahjong. That is, I don't like it.
The entirety of the last episode, we pronounced Kaguya-hime 2 different ways. I said Kaguya-hime and you said Kaguya-hime. And I think I was the only one who thought about this.
No, I also thought about it, but I was also
great.
It's fine, we have different accents. We live...
It's fine. One of us is Canadian.
One of us is Canadian. Which one?
Who can figure it out? Thoughts on Nanaha. She's, I found her very similar. We talked a lot last time about a woman who is not interested in you. And her, specifically her Bond voice lines is sort of a gradual warming up to you. But even at the end of it, she says, I mean, you're pretty ordinary, but, that's fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. You're not my type, and you're fine, but I guess you've entertained my interest in novels, and so now
her Bond Up Level 4 line is, maybe you are a decent choice. You may be ordinary, but being ordinary is still interesting in a special way. Which is incredible.
She's not really interested in you. She's interested in books.
She's interested in you as a potential thing that represents something from a book. You know, she's interested in you as the concept of a romantic partner, because she's interested in the concept of a romantic partner, but that doesn't mean that she's interested in you.
Yes. I find her interesting as a combination of a lot of tropes in a way which makes intuitive sense to me, but I wouldn't say that I've necessarily seen before. Because you could place her as, bookish and reserved, but she isn't, she's not, naive, so she doesn't fit that bit. Or you could place her as, kind of, I don't know, she's fascinating to me.
I'm glad you find her fascinating. I find her a little bit bland. I see where you're coming from.
She does have one thing.
She has one thing. She doesn't talk very much. She doesn't say very much. I work at a bookstore. I read books. That's kind of about it.
She likes Mahjong.
But it's Mahjong Soul. She specifically likes the sound of playing Mahjong, which is incredibly relatable.
It is incredibly relatable.
I remember the first time I played in-person Mahjong, the tiles clicking, it's oof. That's the good stuff.
Yeah. This is how I convince people to play Mahjong with me, is I'm like, you should listen to the way that it clicks. And they're like, it is a good click.
Fine. I'll learn about block theory so that I can listen to it click.
She has a passion for new things from books, but she doesn't actually want to do anything but read. But she is, she could read a book about curling and become interested in curling, and then she'd be very good at curling but wouldn't really want to do it. I don't know.
Uh-huh. Do you want to talk about should we talk about this later? Do you want to talk about the fact that she's 19? You noticed this right before we started recording, and you had a very strong reaction, and I was like, you have to save it until we're recording.
I couldn't save it. I looked at the sidebar of mahjongsoul.club/content/Nanaha Onodera, and it said right above blood type AB, age 19. And I was like, well, I know why they would do this. And it's because this is an adult woman, you know, so she's if you look at this woman, this is an adult woman.
I'm opening
when
up
I first saw her,
looking at this woman.
When I saw her at the end of last episode, I was like, an adult!
I also had the same reaction. I was like, oh, thank God, we are saved from having to talk about...
She could be 30.
She could be 30.
And then I saw that her age is 19, which means that she can be drawn as an adult woman. But watch out. In context, I am 19. And I don't look like this. No one I know looks like this. I'm genuinely kind of curious about this. I'm not refuting you or your discomfort, but I'm also the aesthetic of this game just crunches people's features into the same thing, basically, no matter their age. And so I'm curious why I think that this woman is 30. Yeah. I mean, mostly it's that she has glasses on a chain. It's the turtleneck. It's the stockings and high heels. It's the, sort of, you know... Her character description says she works at a bookstore. This is fine and normal. I can't express what I'm trying to say. She has an air of authority. She has an air of authority. She has an air of maturity. When I first just skimmed the blurb and skimmed her stuff last time, I was like, oh, she owns a bookstore. That is not the case. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, she looks like the owner of the bookstore. She has I get it. She has a maternal air to her. And also is 19. And also she's 19. She's a connoisseur of adult novels. What I'm saying is that this woman is not 19. Nothing except for the number in her character description suggests that she is 19. That is pandering. Yeah. And it's just to me, it's but even in the perception of pandering, it also feels like a weird choice. It feels like a weird choice for this character archetype. Oh, this is gonna sound bad. Because I'm like you said, if you're gonna make a sort of, oh God, oh in talking about this, you realize how rough it is. But if you're gonna make the sort of quiet and innocent bookish type, there's a natural, that is a young character. Yeah. But if she's going to be authoritative, and she's going to be very adult, and she's going to be sort of controlling and particular, and this sort of librarian archetype that she is, then
makes more sense to me to just make her like 28.
Yeah.
In terms of just like that seems to be what the intuitively to me, if I got put in charge of Mahjong Soul like creative and I had to make these awful decisions, I would be like, the maximum pandering version of this archetype is older.
Exactly. What I was going to say is there's a market for this.
Oh, yeah, no.
There is
wrong.
not a market for an adult woman who is like this, who is 28. Yeah. And I can't go any further into it because my mom listens to this podcast.
Hi, Mom.
She's not your mom.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Should we talk about this character design? I got a little bit into it because I had to describe why I thought she was an adult woman. Uh-huh. She's wearing this sleeveless turtleneck sweater.
It is like, I'm really confused. We can just start here. This outfit is relatively simple compared to Kaguya-hime.
Yeah.
But is also like, still has layers, both literally and figuratively. I don't understand this turtleneck. I guess we'll just really quickly go over above the turtleneck. She's wearing glasses that have rims on the bottom, but not rims on the top, which is kind of, I guess they're reading glasses.
Yeah.
And they have like a little gold chain coming off of them that wraps around her neck. She's just long, sort of. She's long. Raven black hair. She just is long. What is this turtleneck? What is this? What does this do? Is it a crop top turtleneck? Because I can't tell where it ends and where the dress begins, if they're even two different objects.
I wouldn't think about it too much if I were you.
I'm thinking it's my job to think about
I
things
understand.
like this.
I have been thinking about them. Before we started this, I was thinking, how many pieces is this outfit? Because my first reaction was, that's not too bad.
Uh-huh.
And I was looking at all the things that make it weird. She's got the reason why we're asking whether or not this is a crop top is because right under the boob, she's got on a corset type of thing with long tails.
It's not really a corset, but I see
bodice?
why you would say that. It's closer to a it's closer to a bodice. It's not doing corsetting.
Yeah, okay, I understand what you mean.
I used to wear corsets every single day.
Yeah, and so you have
opinions. Also made like dozens of corsets. This is not a corset. I guess you could refer to this as a bodice. It's just like a weird. It's strange. It's black. It has kind of like almost a harlequin, like it has diamond shaped cutouts out of it, and it has. And then it goes down into like long tails in the front and presumably in the back. This piece is kind of great. I kind of love this piece, but I also don't understand it.
Well, it's also kind of drawn incomprehensibly. Like if you look too hard around the area under her wrist and like by the book, it doesn't make any sense. So you shouldn't. The scarf is also coming down from a spot which it can't possibly be coming down from.
Yeah, I'm kind of unclear, like, where her
that
waist
whole area
ends
of the body
and where
is not,
her hips start.
Not important.
She kind of, like... if you look at it too hard and, like, look at the shape of her body, and think about, like, the way that, especially if
bodies
you're
work.
Skinny like this... your hips are larger than your waist, usually. It will start to look like her legs just go all the way up to her boobs.
It's her...
so don't look at it until that happens.
Her torso is a long tube.
Her torso is a long pair of legs.
So I wouldn't think about it too much. But it does make understanding this bodice very hard. But The important part about it is that it goes directly under the boobs. And then
Under the
it
boobs.
has this cutout in the front, in a diamond shape, like you said, which goes down into, the turtleneck is teal, and then that cutout has a teal color to it, but it doesn't have the same ribbing as like that knitted turtleneck.
The turtleneck is the same color as the top of the dress, and thus it's kind of ambiguous whether or not they're the same piece or not. And again, like the dress, which is under this bodice thing, goes like up to under her boobs.
Yes.
And because they're the same color, and because of this, it's kind of ambiguous if the turtleneck is the top of the dress, or if the dress is like, or if it's a skirt. I guess it's a skirt. If it's a dress and the turtleneck is the top of the dress, or if it's a skirt and it's over the turtleneck, or if it's like crop top turtleneck, it's very ambiguous.
Yeah. The important part about it as a design choice is that she's got an elegant, flowing skirt dress with this honestly very pretty gradient. It goes from teal to like fuchsia pink, which is the same color as the book she's holding. So those are her two colors. Is she's got teal and pink. This is very pretty.
I quite like this outfit. And again, this is an outfit that if I saw someone at the club or just out in the world wearing this, I would be like, damn.
Yeah.
That whips.
It does. So that's an elegant piece. And then the turtleneck is really like a piece which gives something to the trope of like, this is a librarian, this is a bookish person, this is somebody who's wearing comfortable clothing and reading a book, you know, but it's also sleeveless so you can see her shoulders. Her scandalous shoulders.
She's only a librarian in the top half, and then in the bottom half she's like a weird kind of like fucked up like modern fantasy witch.
And I love that.
I love that for her. She also has a scarf that's kind of like over her elbows, ? The left side of this scarf I do not understand. It is hanging off of something, but her left elbow should be too high for it to hang off of at that angle. And
it's supposed to hang off both elbows.
Floating there.
If you look at, for example, her emotes, which we'll get to, it's hanging off of both elbows. It's just not drawn with particular respect to that here.
It's kind of like a pale bluish gray scarf. It's got a little bit of white detailing, some flowers, some tassels on the end. Is
the white detailing meant to be your Mahjong tile?
Oh yeah, because she has no Mahjong tile.
She has nothing else.
They're kind of flowerish, but they're not really. Hang on, let me look at the Mahjong Soul pin font. Mahjong Soul tiles.
I was gonna say that if they're anything, they're like 8-so, but they aren't. You know.
If they're anything, hang on. Please let me look at this image. If they're anything, they're 8-so. They're not.
They're not
anything. She just does not have Mahjong tiles. When did this woman come out? I'm very curious.
Good question, actually. 2022.
Wow, that's more
January.
recent than I thought.
January 2022.
That is more. She does not look like a more modern character design for this game. I'm interested in as we go through this podcast. Yeah, she's
telling me more about
so simple and straightforward, both in character concept and in design, that I'm like, this is like a 2019 character. She launched with the game. That was what I thought, truly. And I should have known better. This is 2 years
after Kaguya-hime.
Huh.
She's also, it's important before we move on too hard that she has some little strappy black high heels on and black stockings.
Or sheer stockings. They're not black stockings.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's a legible
They're tagged
title
as black
on the
stockings.
book. They're not. Yeah, she's got the tags black hair, glasses, black stocking, and high heels. She doesn't have the tag book. I guess not enough. There are other characters with books.
Yeah. She does have her main character page. I was looking at the tags for it. The tags on all of these main character pages are nonsense, but there's also a tag that says, I wrote a novel.
Yeah, her tags are romantic love, bookstore, part-time job, adult novels, reading, I wrote a novel, magazines. I've clicked on these tags and almost no characters share tags.
I wrote
It's
a novel
very
only
funny.
directs to Nanaha.
Uh-huh. She wrote a novel. Good for her, honestly.
She didn't. I know everything about her, and she did not in fact write a novel.
She's working on it.
Okay, well that's good. Cute and appealing?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. I think this is an acceptable woman. I said that with full intent to explain myself, but you laughed too hard too immediately. When I hear the words cute and appealing anime girl, I think
as you do frequently.
I think of something else. I think of like Fuji. Is a cute and appealing anime girl. That's not if you don't know the Mahjong Soul characters, you should go to mahjongsoul.club/characters/sex/female. Which also shows you the male characters, I learned, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that's because it's a fake link. You can put anything after /sex and it'll just direct you to the /sex page. The thing is, to get to the page that just has the women, it's mahjongsoul.club/content/women, which is less interesting than mahjongsoul.club/characters/sex/women. And so we just added the women to characters/sex because it was funnier.
I didn't know this. That's awesome.
We incepted this URL into the world.
But I'm thinking of the big round eyes. One of the things about Nanaha is that they had to take the sleeves off of her turtleneck because otherwise the only skin that she would be showing is her face and her neck, and only part of the neck. So, you know, they had to give us something.
Only the turtle of the neck.
Only the turtle of the neck. But I think of big round eyes and more skin and more, like, cute. A girl. An anime girl.
Yeah.
This is...
So what you're
this
saying
is an anime woman.
So what you're saying is that she should have the face of a 16-year-old.
She should have the face of a 19-year-old, but she doesn't. She has the face of a 30-year-old. I'm not saying this.
That's what's cute and appealing to you personally?
What? 19-year-olds?
I mean, that would track.
I'm saying that that's what comes to mind when I think of cute and appealing anime girl. But that's not a judgment on Nanaha. I say she's an acceptable woman because I like this character design and I like what's going on here. It's a different archetype than what we previously discussed.
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't want to categorize her as a cute and appealing anime girl because that's not what's going on here, I think.
Sure. I mean, she's appealing. I think she's appealing.
She's an appealing anime woman.
She's an appealing anime woman.
Simone de Beauvoir would hate me. I can define woman so easily. That's a real non sequitur that I've given. I thought that one was funny, so I decided to say it.
Do you want to give a brief explanation?
No.
Okay, moving on. Should we talk about some emotes?
Yes.
Okay, so this is exciting to me. Because again, neither of us have ever seen this woman before in our entire lives. And so we get to, like, as opposed to Kaguya Hime, which was a lot of, like, you talking about how you used her kit, we get to sort of, like, build this moveset ourselves, which is exciting to me. I recently got a new character because a friend/patron of mine gave me, like, $80 to gamble in Mahjong Soul as a Christmas present.
That's hilarious.
And then I did, and then I got Eve Christ, the new woman. She's very good.
New woman.
Um, we'll get to her eventually. And it was very fun, like figuring out how to use her, her kit. Some things were unexpected, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to explore a new woman together.
Let's explore a woman.
Let's explore a woman.
Just looking at the broad scope of this, as I was before we started, I think that this is, speaking in terms of what you discussed last time, where you don't like a lot of old Mahjong Soul characters' kits because they have a lot of the same kind of expression and face shape and stuff. I think this one is not that.
Yeah, no, it's
all
not
of
even.
These are very visually distinct.
They're very visually distinct. She's got a lot of different colors. She's got a lot of different shapes. They actually do a lot of interesting things with the background. At a broad glance, I'm fond of this kit. This is good. She's can express a variety of she can express a variety of emotions.
You got it.
While still like feeling like a pretty clear character. She uses her props a lot, which I really enjoy.
Yes.
She has multiple props and she uses multiple of them. It's good. Anyway, this first emote is incredibly boring in a way that is fine.
I think that this, looking at the broad scope of the kit, and we'll get to the rest of it.
Oh, wait, I had a thing to say about her default design that was
Yes.
the first thing that popped into my head when we looked at her initially at the end of last time. Here's how I would describe this character design. She's a trad wife Bayonetta.
Correct. You win.
Because I clicked on this emote and she has the little mole like Bayonetta,
Yes,
and I was like,
I
forgot to say the word trad wife Bayonetta, so now I've said it and we can move on.
The mole
But
is one of the
she's
things which
trad
makes
wife
her look,
Bayonetta, right down to
makes
like
her
the
look like an adult woman to
vaguely,
me.
yeah, right down to the like vaguely witchy thing, to her like weird long proportions and her hair. And
her high heels.
Book and her glass. She's just Bayonetta. She's just trad wife Bayonetta.
I like that. I like this first emote because looking at the broad scope of this kit, I really like having a sort of softer emotion on call. Like, this one is one that I would be pulling out all the time. As Nanaha. This is a real bread and butter emote. And the emote is literally just the pose that she has in her art, where her hand is up to her face, but she's got her eyes closed this time, so she's like smiling, she's giving, like, a little bit more fondly. She's pleased. She's pleased. She has no colors in the background, no weird expressions, no nothing. She's feeling fine.
Yeah, listen, you gotta have a good neutral game. You gotta have a good neutral game. And having a good neutral game is boring. And this is kind of a boring emote, and that's fine.
And she's kind of a boring character, and that's fine. Next one.
Yeah. In this one, this one's hard to talk about without talking about a later one. But her eyes are big and open. She's looking at the camera dead on. Her eyes are like big and wide and open.
They're like
and she has a little
big white dots with pupils.
Yeah, big white circles with big thick black dots. And she has a little like annoyed spark above her head. And she's just kind of like, you've done something in this moment to annoy her. And she's like, excuse me?
I was going to place it as more of a surprised, like, almost like a waking up, popping the snot bubble kind of spark. But
she's also got that little hair antenna. She's got a little hair antenna.
It perked up in notice of what you've done. So I think this could work as either a surprised or an annoyed. Neither of which she really has. I mean, she has an annoyed, which is better than this.
I want to talk about this a little bit. This one a little bit more later because I think it combos really well with some other ones.
Okay.
I think it combos. You really opened my eyes while we were talking about Kagehime. In that, like, emotes that are similar to each other can work really well in a combo string because they lead naturally into one another. And this leads okay out of her first one, but it leads really well out of a later one.
Okay.
And it's almost kind of a shame
I see what you mean now.
That she's turned... Yeah, we'll get there in a second. It's kind of a shame that in her first one, she's turned the opposite direction. I guess that could work, because you're like, kind of... She's sort of like whipping her head around, but she's sort of whipping her whole body around. It's weird.
She's got two cameras, one on either side of her, and she's turned to the other one.
Yeah, she's sort of breaking the 180 rule a little bit. But that's fine. Anyway, she's, we'll get to it more.
Visually, this emote is fine. I take slight issue with it just because, I don't know, it doesn't look as good as the other ones.
Yeah.
And then the little hair antenna poking up changes her silhouette, which always bothers me. But as an emote which can be used, sure. She doesn't have any other expressions of surprise, so I'll take this one. Actually, she does. Never mind. I lied.
Wow, out here lying.
It turns out that was a lie, and I'm a liar.
Known liar.
The next one is a full body shot. Always good. Where she is like
Love it
wailing.
When you can see the whole woman.
We can see the whole woman. She is hitting the ground, like slapping it with her hand, and she is wailing.
Her face is all red.
Yes. I can't tell. I think she has a book open.
Where?
I literally can't tell.
I can't even see where she might have a book. I don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever's at I guess that's not a book. I zoomed in on the emote and it doesn't look like it. Whatever is at the bottom of this image that's like, I guess that's her skirt, maybe?
Oh, you mean the pink? In the bottom right?
No, I mean the bottom. That's like, got this white outline.
You mean her shadow?
Oh! I understand art.
She's got like a Super Mario 64 like circle shadow.
I see. So she's just slapping the ground.
She's just slapping.
She's slapping.
This is a
perfectly good upset emote. This character is building up to have a lot of strong emotions, which I am into. I think this is better as an emote for being upset than one of her others that we will talk about later, and I'll refer back to this. Because it's clear and it's strong.
Yeah. And again, I like how it's not a headshot. It breaks the framing. This is your real like top level upset emote.
Yes.
And it is effective in that, especially if you don't use it super often. It is effective as that because it breaks that framing, and so it's like immediately noticeable that it's just like it's singular. It's singular in her kit. And that makes it really stand out as a strong option.
And also, this is another thing which is great about a full body emote is that she's doing an action, which she's sort of doing in these other ones, but mostly she's holding a pose more so than she's like doing something. This is, I am so upset that you've made me hit something, you know?
Yeah. It's got movement lines. It's got like, it's kinetic. It's good.
This is the I'm attacking you with a chainsaw of Nanaha Onodera, but instead of it being attacking you with a chainsaw, she's ineffectually hitting the ground.
Yeah, she is not the moon goddess Kaguya. She's
It's
just
less like
a
it's less like
19-year-old, 30-year-old
Chainsaw.
librarian. This is the most she can do.
She's more like a 19-year-old librarian. It's less like Chainsaw and more like Dripping Glamour Kaguya Hime with the ladle of hot water.
Uh-huh.
That's what I meant, but I said Chainsaw first. Next
You're
one.
just always thinking about the chainsaw.
I'm thinking about the chainsaw all the time. Once again, my mic is still resting atop a copy of Volume 12 of Chainsaw Man.
Mm-hmm. Next one. She is, she's got a ... in the top right. She's like resting her hand on her, she's resting her head on her hand, her chin on her hand again. But in this case, her head is like tilted. She's like looking at you with her like eyes sort of half closed in a sort of like, come on, are we really doing this?
Yes.
And she's waiting. She's waiting for you to get over your bullshit. And she's got sort of like a dark teal shadow behind her.
Every character has one of these, I've learned.
I don't think every character has, not every character has a ... Many do.
As far as this podcast goes, every character has one of these. In that we've done Kaguya Hime and we've done Nanaha Onodera, and both of them have one of these. And those are all of the Mahjong Soul women until we
women
spawn
don't exist
in more.
until we look at them.
Yeah, that's the principle of it. That's the principle of dark matter. Women are like dark matter.
Women are like a dark matter.
So I think this is really not different from that whatsoever. It's got a little bit more of an annoyed bent. Like, she's got angry eyebrows in this one, which is
she's sort of
different.
doing a bit of a pout with her lip, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I like her expression here. It's nice. For such a tiny little thing, there's a surprising amount of subtlety in just like the shade in like the shape of her mouth and her eyebrows and her, it's got some like, it has some like depth of design to it.
Yes.
I also just really like the colors. I mean, this is just sort of her default, but I really like the sort of teal shadow with the like magenta of her eyes. It just looks nice.
This is a good piece of art. Which is one thing that makes a good emote. Is if it's appealing. Maybe even cute. This one I would say is cute and appealing.
Yeah, she's cute and appealing. It's difficult for them at this tiny chibi size to almost not be cute. All are equal in
Surprised
smallness.
Nanaha Onodera is not cute.
Well, that's where I was getting at with surprised, is that this one leads incredibly well into surprised. They look, they're in similar poses, but her head like snaps a little bit to the left. The like dark teal is replaced by this like sudden shock of yellow.
Yes.
And this is just like a strong combo of like, this is a good strong defense combo of like, you're folding and you're just like hitting them with the ... to like make them annoyed because they made you fold, and then someone deals in and you hit them with the shocked.
Yes.
And they combo really nicely into each other. It's a really nice defensive option that still keeps you like on the board in a sort of social psychological sense, even while you're folding. It's good.
I agree with you on this. I will say this is not the emote that I thought pairs well with the other one.
I think there's for how bland the second one is, there are a lot of things that pair well with it, which I think is interesting. Sometimes an attack, it doesn't have to be good or interesting, it just has to combo well in or out of something.
Sometimes you're fighting Ivy in Guilty Gear Strive, and all you need to do is get up close and hit her with the 5P over and over and over again. Just little short slaps and juggles.
Shut up.
I would never. Yeah,
Ash is much
I just
better
really like
than
this
me at
one.
Guilty Gear.
You'll get better and we'll fight again. Train hard.
Sure. I have things to do. Do I have things to do? That's a great question. Maybe I'll just play Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
Anyway, this emote, good?
This emote's great.
Okay.
Highly approve.
Cute and appealing and effective.
Bored, annoyed, cute, appealing.
Mm-hmm. Good art. Certified good art.
I'm not speaking about the next one.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
It's okay.
I will speak about the. No.
Sure, go
you
ahead.
Said it. I'll speak.
I
about
have things to say about it, but I'm not speaking about it.
You're not speaking about it. Okay, great. In this one, she has. It's a headshot. She's looking down at a book, the same book she's reading, in her main character art. She has a sort of like wide-eyed expression with eyebrows going up. She has a big smile. She's drooling slightly. The background is this sort of pink love dust. It's this sort of cloud that sometimes even occludes her. And she's Ash, what do you want me to say? She's
Horny.
Turned on by this book.
There you go. It's the reason why I'm not a prude. We've established this.
Uh-huh.
Well established. We'll be better established even farther down the line. I am not horny for Mahjong.
Okay.
This is an emote that you use during a Mahjong game in order to signal something.
Uh-huh.
What?
Uh-huh.
I believe that you could come up with something inventive. That you, Ivy, could do something with this. I can't.
Whoa, what are you saying about me?
I'm saying that you are more open to this possibility than I am. But I'm saying that it would never cross my mind mid-match to go like, man, I have a good hand. I am gonna use the horny emote right now.
I can't believe I'm being accused of being horny for Mahjong.
That's not what I'm accusing you of.
I can't believe I'm being accused of being horny for Mahjong. Your mom listens to this podcast.
I know, and that's why I'm being... I can't speak about it.
That's why you're being a prude.
I'm not a prude, but I'm not horny for Mahjong. Expression of sexual desire is not an emote that's useful to me. While I'm looking for a Yakuman, even. Anything else I can do something with.
You've locked
this
me
emotion
so
does
hard.
not apply.
You've locked me so hard out of following this line of jokes. Your mom listens to this podcast.
You can say whatever you want. We talked about erotica for 2.5 hours last time.
That's true. Here's my take. Is that I think that sometimes I take a sip of apple juice.
Ooh.
You made me buy this apple juice, and now I'm drinking it. It's full circle.
It
It's fine. It's apple juice.
Great.
It's not clarified apple juice, which is good. It has a little,
I see.
I don't like clarified apple juice. It's boring and bad. What are we talking about? We're talking about being horny. A word that I don't like to use. I don't like the word horny. It sounds weird and bad for me. And it's one of those things where I'm like, especially like if in describing myself or in someone describing me, this is a word, or even like describing someone I'm close to, even though many people I'm close to also use this word freely because they're not weird as I am. I just don't like the word horny. It makes me think about, I feel like horny is a word that straight people use to describe sexuality, which is not true. But also, this is my association, and thus I don't like using it. But also, like, sometimes there's not... I also struggle to find a good alternative word, you know?
To describe what's happening here?
She's frisky. She's frisky for Mahjong.
Turned on is fine.
She's turned on by Mahjong. So here's my pitch to you for the utility of this emote.
Yeah, see, there you go. Proving my point.
This emote this emote is not about you. This emote, you're like, when would I be horny for Mahjong? And it's like, Ash, you would not be horny for Mahjong.
Thank you.
But also, this emote is not an emote of Ash. This emote is not an emote of Ash.
It's an emote of Nanaha Onodera.
This is an emote of Nanaha Onodera. And while you are playing Nanaha Onodera, you are playing Nanaha Onodera. I think in order to, like, successfully use any character's set of emotes, a certain level of roleplay is required.
Sure.
And so...
you have to roleplay as Kaguya-hime killing you with a chainsaw.
Exactly. And so, like, there's plenty of uses for this emote. You were like, you reachy and you want to scare people, and you're like, damn.
Okay.
This hand is really doing it for me. Or you, like, win a big hand, and, you know, you throw out this emote, and it's like, is it a comfortable emote? No, but I'm not trying to make my enemies comfortable. I'm trying to make them suffer.
See, there you go. I understand this emote better as an emote which is meant to frighten people.
This is an emote that is like, in a sense, this is a very Kaguya-hime emote.
I don't think so, but go ahead.
Let me finish my damn
I'm
sentence,
letting you finish.
Ash. Because this emote is not about emotion. Like, this emote is very self-centered. It's not about other people. This emote is like, I don't even care about you. I don't even care that I'm taking points for you. I don't care about anything that you could do to me. I don't care about you. I'm over here getting horned up about this hand, and, you know, you're gonna have to deal with it.
See, in literal, like, what the art is, yes. It's a self-centered emote. You've opened my eyes to the only way I could use this emote, which is to frighten people. That is explicitly, it is not about what I feel. Because I am aiming to bluff.
Yeah.
I do not need to be horny for Mahjong to use this emote, and in fact shouldn't.
No, I think if you're horny for Mahjong and you're using this emote, you're giving away too much about, you know, the person behind the screen. Which you should never do. Never be emotionally vulnerable, ever.
Yeah. Don't let people know who your mom is on the internet.
Don't let people know your mom on the internet.
This emote is the majority of what I think I want to talk about this character, just at all. And in doing so, I don't want to speak about it. It's a terrible paradox.
Sorry, can I get that again?
This emote is the majority of what I want to talk about this character. But in doing so, I don't want to speak about it at all. It's a terrible paradox.
I think you should just speak about it. It's fine. I can just cut anything you want me to cut.
No, it's just that it upsets me. I'm not a prude, I just don't like it.
Is it like, I'm so curious about this now. Is it like the, like, really explicit expression of sexual desire?
No.
That you can just like put out into the world in the middle of a Mahjong match?
I mean, I feel like we've crossed that bridge with the skins that are available for you to use in Mahjong Soul. You can express that by playing Dripping Glamour Kaguya-hime. Like, it's fine. I'm not upset by that.
Sure.
I just...
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You're not my therapist. We don't have to speak about this. Somebody listening to this podcast will agree with me. That this is,
but
that
I
this
don't know
is weird.
I might agree with you, and I don't even know what your point is. So you have to tell me. How am I supposed to agree with you?
I can't articulate it.
Okay, I'll get off your fucking case. It's fine.
Thank you.
We can move on.
This is the centerpiece of the podcast, is what I'm saying, but I can't speak about.
Uh-huh. This is the central theme of the podcast, and we cannot talk about it.
This is the next one is the one that I thought would combo really well into surprise.
Yeah, this is the snot bubble popping. You're asleep
yes, exactly.
And then you're awake.
This is an emote of Nanaha Onodera sleeping. She's got a light purple fluffy cloud background. She's leaning. She's got her head resting on her arms, which are on a book, which are on a desk. And she's got little ZZZs coming out. She seems very pleased. She's having a great time. She is relaxed and asleep. You go directly from this when you are like... You declare Ricci, you put out the sleeping emote, somebody else declares Ricci, you wake up.
Uh-huh. This is a great being in Ricci. Because when you're in Ricci, you don't have to do anything. You can just fall asleep.
Yeah.
I love that this is a happy sleeping. This is this is a very explicitly not an I'm bored of you sleeping.
Exactly.
This is not a like, I'm sort of like sad and thus have fallen asleep or have fallen asleep out of like, you know.
This is almost aggressive. It's like, yeah. I'm good.
I'm fine. Yeah. Whatever. I'm chilling.
Whatever. I love this emote.
Good
I would
emote.
use this all the time.
I agree. Strong emote.
It doesn't express a common emotion, but I kind of like it when an emote does something else.
Yeah, agreed. Honestly, I think horny for book kind of combos pretty well into surprised also. There's an implicit like slamming closed of the book, you know?
Like, man, I'm engrossed in this literature. What the fuck?
See, just by proximity, the fact that we've talked about horny for books so much means I'm like, maybe this emote isn't so bad.
What could you use this for? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted you to think about it, because I think you'd be better at it than me.
Uh-huh. It's because I'm not a prude.
I talked about Dripping Glamour Kagehime with you for so long.
Listen. Play prudish games, win prudish prizes. That was not the turn of phrase I should have gone with.
I don't even know what you mean by that.
We're moving on.
The next emote is also really good. I don't know if it has much utility, but it's good art.
It's very charming, genuinely.
Yeah.
She's holding a book up to her face. Her mouth is sort of hidden behind the book. She has big sort of glistening eyes. She's little sparkles around her face. In the background is this, they really like this sort of fog effect for her. She's got this like fog, but it's sort of golden orange with more sparkles in it. And she's sort of like, it's sort of a like, it's sort of a like this is almost weirdly off archetype for her, because this is a sort of like, you're cute and I'm looking at you from across the bookshop, which is not really the way that she expresses her emotions in any other way, in any other place. I mean, you know, she's a complex woman. She can express many emotions.
She can. This is her I'm cute emote to me.
This is her I'm cute, yeah.
And I do think that this is... The little haze effect is the same little haze effect as horny for book, but in gold instead of in pink, with sparkles instead of with its weird little clouds. And she's facing the other direction, which makes me think that these two are complementary.
Oh, yeah.
Because one of them is deeply self-centered, and the other one is deeply, like, I want you to look at me.
This is a great hello emote. This IMO, you open a match with this, and it's nice. And
you also can open a match with the first emote, but it depends on how you feel.
But it depends on how you feel. I again, I think because they're similar, this combo's pretty well out of horny for book. You're horny for book, and then someone notices you, and you snap the book closed, and you're embarrassed, so you're hiding behind it.
Mm-hmm. But you're also so cute.
Just so cute. Love to be cute.
Appealing, even.
It's cute, appealing. Again, the colors on this one is really nice. Mm-hmm. The like gold with the red. It's a good art. It's good art stamp.
The next one is her. Again, she's got a desk in front of her. She's got a book open. She's been looking at it for a while, and she's got this dark green, spiky-ish, not really spiky, but kind of bouldery background. Her eyes are X's. She's got a little wavy mouth that's all worried or flustered or whatever. And she's got the, eye messed up, dark squiggles, dark scribbles coming out of her head. So this is like, and I can't figure this out.
Yeah, she's kind of overwhelmed. This is a good emote. This is an emote that you use when you're thinking about Suji. You're thinking really hard about Suji, and you use this emote because Suji
that's
is
really good. Like you're on defense, and your brain is fried.
And your brain is fried, and like half the tiles are on the table, but you don't have any strictly safe tiles, and you're freaking out, and you need to like use your whole time. So you throw out this emote to just be like, "Blah."
Like I'm not dead. I'm just thinking very hard, and it's very hard. Yeah, I like that as a use. I don't find this emote has as much utility as I would like it to, given that you only have so many emotes in a kit, but...
It's pretty specific.
It's specific.
I don't know. I feel like, to some extent, I feel like you can use this anytime you're taking a lot of time. Even if you're taking a lot of time to, like, decide your Ricci weight or whatever. Oh, honestly, you know what would be great? Okay, you draw your tile, you're figuring out what to discard for Ricci. You do this in the like 10 seconds you're spending trying to figure out what to discard. Then you Ricci, then you fall asleep. You're overwhelmed by your book, but then you figure it out and you're like, okay, I'm taking a nap.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah. I appreciate this in conjunction. This is a great use of what Nanaha's gimmick is, which is that she has a book.
Yeah, I love her prop use in this. We haven't really been talking about it, but I also love, like, I also love the use of her glasses in this, like, the way that they use the glasses at, like, different thicknesses and detail level, and, like, the chains of the glasses to frame her face in different situations, and also the way they use her scarf to frame her body, and the way they use her book. Again, she's got, like, 3 props, and they use all of them constantly in these emotes, and they use them really well. Yeah. Like, if there's any redemption, well, there's lots of redemption for it, but, like, one thing I genuinely like about the Annoyed one as a standalone thing is, like, I feel like it really emphasizes those chains in a way that feels aggressive, in a way that is hard to talk about, and that's just a great use of props. She's a great use of props overall, which I love. Again,
this is a great example of why Nanaha is boring but really great. It's a compliment. It's like that she only has a few things. So, like we've talked about before, and we talked about this in our pilot unaired episode about Fuji, about just having too much stuff on the emote that defines the character design, and so you can't do anything interesting because you have to fit all these little ornaments in there. Nanaha's got none of that. Can fit in 3 things because all of those things can be defined by a couple of simple shapes. You put a book in there, you put a scarf in there, you put some glasses in there, you're good. It's fantastic. This character design is very good for what it is, for what it does.
Yeah, and you also don't have to have it. Like, there are emotes in this where you can, like, the glasses are basically just an extension of the eyes rather than doing something for the image. And then there are emotes where the glasses are, like, notable, and there's emotes without the books, and there's emotes where you can barely see the scarf, and there's emotes where the scarf really, like, defines, like, in her ... emote, I feel like the scarf is really, like, highlighting the pose of her arm
Yes.
and like how it's different from how she's posing similar in the other emote.
And
Because
in
she's
the
like pushing up the scarf.
In the sleeping emote, it's a cozy little,
Yeah, she's got a little
It
blanket.
emphasizes how comfortable she is, because she's got a nice woolen scarf.
Uh-huh.
I assume it's woolen. She's got a whole knitwear thing going on with between the turtleneck and the scarf.
Yeah. It does appear, I would say it's definitely like knitted.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's probably wool or like cotton. That'd be nice.
Something nice.
Something nice. She's got good taste.
She's comfortable.
She's comfortable. And then this final one
is standard. It's got those purple spikes, which we like. It's got the little shakes of terror or rage or whatever it is. Eyes so shadowed that you cannot even see them. Just the bottoms of the glasses really are visible. Horrified expression. This is her, like, shocked, terrified.
Something has gone horribly wrong.
Something's gone horribly wrong.
I see, but I don't think, personally, I don't think you use this emote when something has gone horribly wrong for you. I think she has other better options for that. I think this is a third-party emote.
Somebody else got the son by
somebody else got murdered, and you're like, oh my god, I'm shocked.
Yes.
I don't feel like this is, for whatever reason that I cannot define, I don't feel like this is a great reaction to, like, I've been hurt. This is a, like, oh my god, something ridiculous has happened in my book I'm reading.
Well, I feel like I said I was going to say something about the other upset emote, the slap in the ground emote, and I never did. And I think it was because I was going to say something about this one and the last one, which is just that, this is the slap in the ground emote as an active thing. I think you're right about the horrified emote being good as a third party or as a passive observer, because you have an active emote for when something happens to you.
Yeah.
And then I was considering, frustrated with book as an annoyed emote, and I think that you're right that it's more of a personally overwhelmed instead of like, man, you've done something to me. It's like, no, I've done something to myself.
Yeah, to me the little spiral thing, which I actually really like how they've drawn, it's sort of scribbly and sketchy.
Yeah.
Is very like steam coming out of her ears. That's not literally what it is, but that's sort of the feeling that it gives to me. It's too much. It's become too much.
I guess we have to move on to another outfit now.
Yeah, that's Nanaha Onodera.
That's her default.
That's her default. The broad thoughts?
I like this woman. I had no thoughts on this woman when we started and when I saw her for the first time. And I had no thoughts I had some thoughts about her characterization as being interesting, but I didn't find it, like, appealing. It's not like,
right.
Oh, I think that this is a character that I like. It's a character that I'm interested by. But I think her emote set really ties it all together. But she's got a good, variety of things going on. I wouldn't say that it displays a lot of, like, personality necessarily in the emotes. There's some of who she is that comes through. But mostly it's got good utility. They're pretty, and her design is very pretty. And it's like...
I think her emotes really make her more than anything else.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if I could see myself being this woman, but the emotes certainly help me want to be this woman.
Okay, you want to take a 5-minute break?
Yes.
Alright, let's talk to you in a bit.
怒ってはいませんよ。ただ、今日はお客様があまりにも多いので、落ち着いて本を読めなくて。それで少しイラついているだけです。
So when you say, I'm not a prude, as a preface to a statement, it makes you sound like a prude, right?
I know it does.
I just want to make sure that you're aware of this. So that you're aware of the way that you're coming across.
As a prude?
As a prude.
I'll make myself sound like a prude.
Uh-huh.
It's fine. It's the price I pay for clarity.
All right. Available after making a bonding promise with Nanaha Onodera.
It's a bonding promise.
I love to be available after making a bonding promise with Nanaha Onodera.
She gains a hood.
She becomes a witch. Now she's just become Bayonetta. She's no longer
Well-
Tradwife Bayonetta. She just is Bayonetta.
Not quite.
She's not Bayonetta. She's one of the other witches that are in like the flashback segments of Bayonetta.
She's a
like
sexy
she's
fortune
not
teller.
Bayonetta. She's a Bayonetta.
She's an alternate universe Bayonetta.
Uh-huh.
So the turtleneck is still there, but now it's white. They've removed a lot of the teal elements of this outfit, though they're still present. She's got like teal little highlights in her hair. The scarf has been replaced by the new home of the blue and pink gradient that's going on, which is a different kind of scarf.
Yeah, it's kind of like I guess it's just a different kind of scarf. It's kind of like vestments. It's kind of for like religious. She's a witch. She's become a witch. It's like the
vestments.
Broad strokes. She's become a witch. She's now got these like vestments that have the teal to pink. Except the gradient continues from pink to like a galaxy thing.
Mm-hmm. Like a lavender with little spots.
Stars. She's got a lot more. She's sitting on a tree. She's got a lot more books.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very precariously balanced.
They've really upped. She had some gold ornamentation on her bodice before. Now it's all over the it's the trim on the hood. It's the trim
She's
on
got
the
a little
robes.
gold pendant holding her cloak together.
Yes.
The bodice has been kind of both upgraded and downgraded, in my opinion. It's a much less interesting piece.
It now makes more sense.
It just kind of, it does make a lot more sense. You can also see her hips now.
Yeah. Her body is proportioned in this one.
Mm-hmm. She has a body. She possesses physical form.
She's now showing skin in more places, which is to say they covered some of her arms and her shoulders, but in return, they gave you her hips.
Yep,
like,
they give you
from
a whole
mid-thigh
hip.
to some of the upper hip and a little bit of crotch.
You can, a little bit of, just a little taste. That is the wrong word to use.
Nope. Try again.
Nope. just a little bit of a look. There we go.
There you
much
go.
More reasonable.
She's also her nails are painted. I just noticed.
Oh yeah, are her nails painted in the other one?
No. Well, now that I've said that,
you
let
can't
me
really
check.
see them. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Her nails are painted red. Which almost feels a little off.
Yeah, I don't know that adds anything to the image, but it certainly is there.
I guess her bodice is also her bodice thing is much reduced and is all I think it's part of this dress thing that she's wearing now. Which
what
is
do you mean?
Incredibly well, if you look at okay. So look at the bottom spike of the bodice. The bottom left spike of the bodice.
Yes.
And then follow the bottom seam of it down.
Yeah.
It like loops around and into the dress.
Yes.
Implying that it is part of the dress and not a thing on top of it.
It is the garment.
It's
Here.
the garment. This sure is a garment.
This is the garment.
That's kind of the only word one can use to describe this. It's not quite a dress. It's not even quite a bodice. It's a garment.
This outfit has a little bit of what we were talking about with the Kagehime Christmas one, where it's got a little bit of thigh, poking out a little, but not much.
Oh yeah, I was actually going to speak on the thigh highs, because they actually don't really do the thigh squishing that much, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
The line just continues. And so these thigh highs actually look like they fit well and properly, and like are comfortable. Oh man, I love wearing sheer stockings. I never get to do it anymore.
But they feel
I'd
like
nice.
to she's no longer wearing shoes. It's just the stockings.
No.
But this is not tagged as barefoot because you can't really see your toes. I mean, you can. They're down at the bottom, but, like, not prominently.
But not really. It's tagged black hair, glasses, black stockings, and hooded cloak.
The hooded cloak, I'm gonna say, is... Like, the witch look works for me. This is great.
Yeah. No, this is... I really like this as a Bond-up outfit. It's like a strong evolution from her default thing while still doing its own thing. That works for me.
Once again, like we talked about with Kaguya Hime, the original art has her not quite looking at you. She's looking at her book. And she's turned to the side, but you can see her face. This one, she is not looking at her book. She's looking at you. That's what the evolution is between a default outfit and a Bond outfit. She's even got, like, her arms open, you know?
Yeah, she's really, like, offering you to come join her on this tree, which is awkward. I don't know where I would sit here. There's not much
She's
space.
not even really sitting anywhere on this tree.
She's not really... It's kind of, yeah. How she is... She's a witch. She can do whatever she wants.
She can do whatever she wants.
She can do whatever she wants. This is a bold declaration. Women, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I support women's wrongs. I just finished Recreators, and I gotta say, I support women's wrongs. Someone will understand this.
I don't, but I'm happy for you. Yeah, I like this outfit. Her legs are weird, and I don't like looking at her right leg for too long. I just start to notice this, like, cavity in her knee, and it's like below her knee, and it's too much.
No. Don't make me look at legs. Don't make me look at legs.
Don't make Ash look at legs. Don't make Ash look at legs or at books.
I thought about doing the, like, knee to toe, you know, line up to the other proportions of the body again, but then I decided I didn't want to feel like that anymore.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really make sense because she's sitting, so you can't really get a good sense of the actual proportions of her body.
She's better proportioned than...
She's better proportioned.
Yeah.
And I feel mean if I talk about things being misproportioned for too long. It's just, this is how you draw women, okay? I mean, ideally it wouldn't be, maybe, but it is how women are drawn.
I think you could be a little mean to the Mahjong Soul artists. I think that's fine.
We're trying to discuss these as legitimate pieces of art.
We're trying so hard.
We're trying really hard.
But then if we're trying to discuss them as legitimate pieces of art, then we can critique them. I don't understand. I think you're a little too in your head.
I'm just a nice... I'm nice.
He's just a nice boy.
I'm a nice boy. The emotes here don't have a lot of variety, but they're good.
I don't really understand this first one. She's just like looking at you. She's talking, I guess.
She's got a little huff. She has
sort of like a power stance.
She's
a huff, but she's smiling. Yeah, she's got like a rising sun behind her. Yeah, I guess this is like an I'm powerful. She almost really looks kind of buff. I also don't really like it. I feel like it's kind of... I don't understand it, and thus I fear it.
All of the emotes in this set of 3 have the gold in the background, which doesn't work as well as the other colors, I feel. What you miss in this set of emotes, and I do like them overall, but what was great about the colors in the first set of emotes is you got the magenta eyes, you got the little bits of teal with the turtleneck, and then you got that great shape on the gray scarf, and a variety of colors in the background, which all contribute to the various props. This one, the magenta in the main art is confined to the inside of the hood, the book, and the bottom of the vestments. But you don't get the inside of the hood in these emotes, and so you're missing a color that would tie it together.
Also, like the like little gold lining on the hood and her little brooch, her thing. Her
the brooch is not necessary to include in all of these.
It adds a lot of extra detail to her like head area. The police are coming to.
The police are after you. It's because you were criticizing art.
It's because I was criticizing art. No. This is what liberals want. And it makes her head space busier in a way that makes it look worse at the emote level, even though I kind of like this outfit better. In the main art, it's worse for the emotes.
Highly agreed. I just missed the teal. The teal was the main thing about her original outfit, and it's just not as present here.
Yeah. Next emote.
The second emote is great, though. Give me Tsumo.
Give me sumo.
Give me Tsumo.
I can't look too long at our hand in this art, but that's fine.
Let's not.
let's just not.
I've decided we shouldn't.
She has a book open. It's shining. The pages are flipping by themselves. There's light emanating from the book. There's, again, sort of like the orange. It's a little softer, a soft orange glow behind her. And she has her eyes closed, and she's saying, give me sumo. If you didn't pick up on the fact that she was a witch from looking at everything else, this is you in that she is a witch now. She's no longer just getting horny about books. She's using books to cast spells, which is great.
You could combo this into horny for book by doing this, and then when you get the Tsumo, you do horny for book because it succeeded.
Oh, does that redeem horny for book for you?
No.
Well, because okay.
Just because it has utility doesn't mean it's acceptable. I sound like such a prude.
I can't believe you're a prude. I can't believe I'm doing this I specifically was like, I want to do this podcast with Ash, because Ash isn't a prude. And here we are, and it's all falling apart.
Just trust me, okay? I trust you. This is a great emote because it has words on it, and the words are exactly what you use this emote for.
This is a great bluffing emote in like a meta sense.
That's good.
You can use this to bluff that you're in tenpai when you're just not. And it fucks everyone up and gets everyone to whine in front of me. It's fantastic.
This is a great
love
emote.
That this is explicitly like she's basically saying I'm in tenpai. And the fact that you can use it when you're not in tenpai is extremely funny.
It's also a good emote, I feel, for your like second or third dealer repeat, just to do this at the start of every round.
Yeah, and just make everyone upset. This is a making other people upset emote, which is great.
I love it.
Very strong offense. Strong offensive option.
I told you about the machine which I'm receiving in my inheritance to help me make beaten biscuits. And the reason why I bring this up right now while we're talking about this emote is because I love a vintage uni tool. I love a machine which is only used for one thing. And an emote with words on it that is so specific as to mean one thing and one thing only.
Mention a game mechanic. Yeah.
Yes, is exactly the same appeal to me. The third emote is her falling on her face and dropping all her books.
This one is really funny to me as a Bond-up emote, because in the Bond-up, she's like, I guess we're dating now, which is very funny. It's very funny that in her final Bond-up emote, she's like, I guess we're dating, that's fine. And so I look at this and I'm like, this is a meet cute, but like not.
This is a meet cute, but after you already started dating, because she's wearing the Bond-up outfit.
And also she just like didn't fall into you, she just fell.
The little marks of impact are also gold. It's all gold that's happening here.
I mean, I think that's kind of almost a coincidence. This is the default color for these impact marks. In the sort of visual language of Mahjong Soul. If something is hitting something, it creates yellow impact marks. So I understand your overall critique. I'm not critiquing this one for having yellow on it, when yellow is the thing that expresses this action in this game's visual language.
The full body here is also great.
It's a full body emote. We get to see the back of her weird dress, which looks a lot more reasonable than it does in the full thing, where it's extremely difficult to tell that it even has a back, let alone what is happening? What is happening? I can't look too long at it and then look at the emote because she just looks like she's wearing a different dress.
I like that they rendered it all pretty faithfully. I also like that they rendered in the little garters at the top of the stockings, so you still see a little bit of skin.
It almost looks like she's wearing boots, but no, they're just sheer stockings. This is a good emote. I don't really know when you would use this, which feels weird. It expresses such a clear thing. I would figure it out.
Yeah.
Do you use this when you deal in? Do you use this?
This is good art.
It's just good. I just like looking at it. I don't know if I would ever use this, but I just like looking at it.
I would use this so that somebody else could look at it.
So really communal-minded of you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I'm a kind boy.
Yeah. Ash is a nice, upstanding, wholesome gentleman. Mm-hmm. That's what we've discovered in this episode of the podcast. Extremely wholesome, extremely nice,
and I would never be horny.
Yeah. Just don't think about anything that happened in the first episode. Judging just by this episode, you're perfectly nice and you're perfectly wholesome.
Uh-huh. And then we get to the last outfit.
This episode truly isn't about Nanaha Onodera. This episode is about you.
Every episode can be about me if you believe.
Yeah, I mean, this podcast is about us, honestly. Yeah. Then we get to the last outfit, Traditions of Summer, Nanaha Onodera. The quote here, do you want to read it or can I read it?
I will read it. It's, "Oh, fancy meeting you at this desolate place. Maybe it could be said that our hearts are in harmony. Well, as a reward, take a piece of this snack."
A piece of this snack. Just a piece.
Mm-hmm. She does have a plate.
It's also so funny that she described this place as desolate. This is the least desolate place I've ever seen in my life.
Probably a translation that is not so accurate.
She's sitting it's probably like a lonely place or something. Mm-hmm. She's sitting like at the edge of like a pond or a pool. There's beautiful rock formations.
It's a hot spring.
I guess there's steam, so it's hot spring. There's like maple leaves above her. There's like a lush, she's sitting on a lush patch of grass.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little lantern. She's got little sakura-shaped dessert snacks. It's very pretty. The colors in this image are nice.
It's a very pretty image. I will say, I think my first thing which I have to say about it is that there's a couple things which make it clear that this is Nanaha Onodera, but they're not super, this isn't as... After looking at a bunch of other pictures of Nanaha Onodera, this makes sense. But if you saw this on its own, I don't know if I would connect it to the character immediately.
Sure.
She's holding a little pamphlet. She's got the glasses.
This is a book. It's got multiple. It's got pages. It's a small book. It's a
sure. It's a small book.
It's like a poetry book.
She's got the glasses with the chains. She's got a sleeve/scarf off the shoulder thing happening. But other than that, her hair is tied up, so it's different.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit, I don't know, and her colors are minimally present. I like it. It just doesn't immediately look like her.
She's wearing is this tagged as a kimono? It's tagged as a yukata. Right, this is a yukata. Okay. It's more revealing than I think most yukatas are.
Hard side boob.
I will say that this is the most anatomically correct she's ever looked.
Absolutely.
To the point where it is almost starting to work for me as a piece of art. This side boob has weirdly proper definition in a way that I approve of. If you're gonna draw a side boob, it should look okay.
Yeah.
It should look reasonable. Her legs don't look like hell. If I look at them too long, maybe a little bit, but I just won't.
She's still got extremely long calves, but everyone does.
Everyone has long calves. That's just life.
Not in real life.
No, in real life.
Okay.
Everyone has this
You can
language
say
pattern.
things that are lies and wrong, and that's okay.
You would
Oh,
never
she's
say
got.
things.
I didn't
You're
notice,
nice
but
and
there's little
upstanding.
fireflies around here. That's pretty.
Oh, she does have little fireflies. I really like the pattern on this dress.
Mm-hmm.
It's got little maple leaves on it. That sort of like intersect with this sort of like abstract stripes and diamonds pattern that I think looks really nice.
It's a little sheer, but it's not like. This is tasteful. We've spoken about this in reference to Hot Spring Images. Like, what is tasteful? This is tasteful.
Sure. Yeah, I suppose so. I think this is a fairly. She also has a scarf. There's a lot going on in this image, and so it's almost easy to miss. It's not her usual color, nor is it her usual texture. It's like a forest. It's like a light leaf green.
Yep.
It's wide and it looks silken almost.
And it looks like it's disconnected sleeves, but that's just kind of how things are.
That's just
Mahjong Soul.
Yeah. But I get it. Like, this is her default outfit. She's like dressed for the winter. This is a summer scarf.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a teenager, I used to wear a lot of scarves fashionably. You have summer scarves, you have winter scarves. I get it. This is this is a nice summer scarf. It's got a little bamboo patterning you can just barely see next to the lantern. It's nice, tasteful.
Yes, I think we were just talking about showing, why I would show that emote of falling over with the books, because I think it's a good piece of art. I would equip this outfit not because I particularly think it... Again, this isn't extremely connected to the character for me. This is just a piece of art.
And it's
pretty.
I'm not sure I agree with that, but sure. I just like... Yeah, I don't know. I
would like to look at this for long periods of time, but not because I like this character.
Sure. I mean, I think that it is like... I think reading everything that... I also like her facial expression here.
Yeah, it's good.
She's doing a, like, beckoning thing, but she also looks, like, kind of annoyed at you in a way that I like. She's sort of like, sure.
This might as well happen.
Oh, fancy meeting you. I like her little book.
The book is cute.
This is her summer look. During the winter, she reads a big book inside. She's got a big scarf. During the summer, she goes and reads a little book at the hot springs. This is normal. This is reasonable. This makes sense to me. No, yeah, I like it. The
Her emote for this
leaves are very nice.
Her emote for this outfit reads much better as a Nanaha Onodera emote than the art reads as a Nanaha Onodera outfit.
Yeah, they let her hair go, which is good.
Yes. Well, it's still tied up, but it's like visible. Well, the emote is that she's clutching a book and falling over backwards with blood spurting out of her nose and little hearts. And it's very cute. I don't know when you would use this in a Mahjong Soul game, but I approve.
See, it's interesting to me that you approve of this one, because I'm looking at this, and this is also
this is literally also horny for book.
She's also horny for a smaller book, but she's expressing. I get is it
the difference? Like, between the two emotions
that are being presented. Of the nosebleed? Sorry, you can just go. The
difference between the emotions, this one presents like a great positive experience. Shut up and let me talk. This one
just spat out my apple juice.
Don't spit out your apple juice because I'm Anyway, but the other one has this, like, anticipatory fixation that makes my skin crawl a little bit. And this one is consummated. that just because I thought you would think it's funny.
Uh-huh. Sure.
They're different because one of them is like, and this one is like, squee.
Uh-huh.
And one of these makes me feel uncomfortable, and the other one is like, yeah, this might as well happen.
Uh-huh.
You should speak about this now.
No, I think you should just keep going. I mean... Okay, so to me,
This is an emote from when you were going for a Yakuman, but you deal in instead.
Uh-huh.
Like, I died, but it was worth it.
Sure. That's being a little bit of a freak, IMO.
It is. This is a freak emote.
This is a freak emote. Uh-huh. Maybe that's
Stop
why you
saying
like it more.
It's you and your... This podcast is going to end after 2 episodes.
We'll talk about it. I like this emote because I feel like, hang on, let me get back to her default page so I can look at all of her emotes all at once.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like amongst this, it's almost frustrating that this is part of a paid outfit, because she doesn't really have any other emotes that express, like, like a release, that express like a I have won, and they express a consummation.
Climax?
Exactly. Like she has all these things that like she has all these things that like build her up to that point, but then she doesn't have any way to like, get over that mountain. And so this really fits in well with that kit as that option. That's all I really have to say.
Can I have one more shot at explaining myself?
You can have as many shots of explaining yourself as you like.
Horny for book looks lecherous.
Right.
That is my problem with it.
Uh-huh.
It is like I'm doing something I'm not supposed to.
Sure.
By reading a book that makes me horny in the middle of this Mahjong game.
Uh-huh.
The other one has none of this sense of, like, lecherousness.
Uh-huh.
It's just a woman enjoying herself.
I think women should be allowed to enjoy themselves.
In a way that doesn't make them, like, present them as weird perverts.
Right. So, okay. So I think we're getting at the problem with Horny for Book. The title of this episode? I'll figure it out.
Horny for book?
It's either that or Ash is a prude.
No!
Prudish for book.
You need to cut this part of the conversation in instead of the one that I was having about it before, so that we can just get to the good part right at the start.
Uh-huh. Well, you don't want to get to the good part too quickly. You have to build up to it.
Yeah, sure. To a climax.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, she really is just Bayonetta. I've really come around on this interpretation. I think that your problem fundamentally stems from, like, and you said I'm not your therapist.
Yeah? Be careful with what you say next.
Your problem fundamentally stems from in Horny for Book, she's like explicitly expressing desire, And the fact that she is explicitly expressing desire in a social context, and that, like, this is not just like like, to have Dripping Glamour Kugugi Kime is, like, in a sense a passive choice that you make.
Sure.
But to hit this emote button is an active choice that you make.
Yes.
It is an active choice to be like, to tell the other people
that
like,
you're horny for Mahjong.
I'm lecherous for this situation that we are all part of because we are all playing this Mahjong game together.
And I'm gonna inflict that on you.
Right. Meanwhile, I'm finished with this book. Which is what I'm gonna call this last emote. Expresses, like, I had a good time, but does not express, like, expectations on other people.
Yes.
It expresses, like, this was good for me, but it doesn't express, like, I want this to be good for me in a way that puts pressure on other people.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Does that make you feel less like I'm a prude?
I don't know.
Ugh.
Yes, it does. I genuinely understand better what your problem is now. And I also agree. See, we can come to agreement. We can work things out, I promise.
This episode,
we don't have to end the podcast
titled,
after 2 episodes.
This episode is titled Coming to an Agreement.
Fuck off! It's the worst thing it could possibly be. It's also the episode title now.
It's totally the episode title.
Wow.
Closing thoughts?
I like her so much more than I did initially.
Me too.
Initially I was like, she's boring. I read her lines and I looked at her base design and I was like, she's boring. And then we talked about it enough that I just, like, am now like, hang on, this is now my, like, 7th favorite character.
Mm-hmm. See, this is my, thesis of the whole podcast is the thing. And of my whole thesis of, like, enjoying media. Is that the purpose of consuming more media is to learn to enjoy more things. And if we can talk about a character for an hour and 45 minutes and then come to like that character by the end of it, we've succeeded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've come to a suitable climax, and we're all satisfied.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Sometimes characters that are boring are good.
I think that we still have not seen enough characters that we can, and also I didn't set up, like, a proper system for us. I think we can still just hit this randomize button. Oh, I don't think we don't have time. Now that we're time limited, we can't really talk about ranking.
Time limited.
I think we should try and talk about ranking after next episode.
Okay.
I guess that's a little tiny teaser. But I was gonna say we haven't seen enough people that we're unlikely to get the one other character we've seen if we just hit random.
So we should still randomize it.
So we should. Do you want me to do it, or do you want you to do it?
No, you do it.
Okay, I'm screen sharing. I'm gonna hit random. This will decide our fate.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, bop.
Yes!
Wow. Yes! Oh, God.
Consummated.
Shut up! Shut up! Wow, I'm so excited for this one. I'm so excited for this one. Oh, and she only... Well, this is a slight spoiler. And she only has 2 skins, so that we have time to fit in a little something extra at the end of next time. Great. Fantastic. Well, we will see all of you there next time. Make sure to follow us on your podcast app of choice. Rate us 5 stars if that's a thing you can do. I think we're on. Wait, I need to put us on Apple Podcasts. I think go rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us a lot. Yes, it helps us a lot. You should tell people to rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
They should rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
And you can also follow the show at
soul-mates-podcast on co-host.
Yeah,
I've
where
made
we
2
will-
posts on there.
You have? Oh, I am not looking at Coast for
One of them
personal
is an
reasons, but I
introduction to the show, and the other one is a post about our first episode.
should. Great. Well, now you can make some more.
Yep.
Happy New Year, everyone. Bye.
Bye!
終わりましたね。まだ続けますか？お開きということなら、また今度誘ってください。では。